When they talk about becoming unrecognizable, they are talking about me. 2025 has truly been the year of uncharted territory for me. I was able to exit my lazy girl era for good and for real this time. I moved into my first ever brand new home and built the closet of my dreams. I was able to quit my 9-to-5 marketing job at the beginning of this year and actually build a career based on personal development, which was a long-time passion of mine that I had just been previously too scared to take a leap on. And most recently, I 5x'd my Instagram following within literally 2 months of me just locking in. But the part where I am not quite unrecognizable, at least not yet, is when it comes to my body goals. Don't get me wrong, I have lost a significant amount of weight this year, but I have actually been here before. The one sentence that got me locking the hell in 2025 is, if you want to see something different tomorrow, then you need to be someone different today. Put simply, if you want your life to become unrecognizable, you need to become unrecognizable to yourself first. And while I've made amazing progress mentally, emotionally, and physically, I have been here before multiple times. I've gotten to this exact point where I have literally 10 pounds to go. I see the finish line right in front of me. I'm feeling good. I'm feeling better in my clothes. Jawline is popping, feeling more healthy, more energetic. And then I just kind of turn it all around and go in the complete other direction over and over and over again. And that's just not going to be my story. I'm not letting that happen. This version of me is different. But the thing is, I need to show myself that. I need to embody that now so that I can actually unlock the level that I had previously never really been able to unlock. Hello, my love. If you're new here, I'm your girl Rima, your tough, loving big sis who takes her own advice. And you are now tuned in to another episode of Rima's Rules. Today, we are going to talk about the 5 rules that I'm following to get my dream body and keep it. Let's just get straight into it. Rule number 1 is that I am spending the next 30 days at least focusing only on low intensity steady state cardio, otherwise known as LISS cardio. Now, people don't really know this. A lot of us think that we need to be like so winded that we can't even breathe. And while that can be a great form of cardio for other things, low intensity cardio is actually zone 2 and maybe even dipping into zone 3 of your heart rate zone. It is the kind of cardio that you can do and still hold a conversation. You might be a tiny bit winded, but you're still coherent. You can get through your sentences while you're on the phone or while you're walking and talking with somebody. You actually just need to work smarter and not harder. Now, the thing about LISS cardio is it optimizes fat burn without you actually burning muscle. I have built a lot of muscle over the past year. I want to keep that. I love that look. I love that physique. And it's also just healthier. I don't want to burn my muscle, but I absolutely want to torch my fat. The thing about it though, is you need to do a little bit more for you to actually see the benefits of it. I just came out of a challenge, and if you were part of Next Level November, hey girl, 95 people joined me in my Next Level November challenge, and all we did every single day was focus on 2 simple things, simple but challenging, 30 minutes of LISS cardio a day, as well as drinking 80 ounces of water for me, because that's half my body weight, whatever was half of their body weight for them. And while it did seem very simple, just doing anything every single day was challenging. But we got through the month, and I just love that I was able to do that for an entire month. But I want to crank it up several notches. So this month, I am pursuing the diabolical feat of doing 3,000 minutes of low intensity cardio in 30 days. Which will typically boil down to around 100 minutes a day. But because I'm not a robot, sometimes it'll be more, sometimes it'll be less, but you better believe that before New Year's Eve, I will have done 3,000 minutes of low intensity steady state cardio. I have a lot of details about the challenge and just kind of how I'm going about it on Instagram. So go ahead and follow me on Instagram if you want more of like the in real time stuff. The reason I'm doing this is not just because I want to torch fat. Obviously, that's one of the objectives, but one of the other objectives is it really will force me to embody a version of me that I have never, ever been before. I usually would have lost a lot of weight leading up to my birthday, and then I just start getting too comfortable. I'm feeling good about myself. I'm not quite where I want to be yet. I still have about 10 pounds to go. This has happened like at least 5 times. And then October hits and I just start losing steam, eating a little more than I normally do, and moving a lot less because it gets a lot colder. I am not that girl anymore. That's literally why I did Next Level November, because I'm like, no. I don't care what's going on. You are doing your cardio. You are going to become an active person in and outside of the gym. You are an active girl. December is me just literally sprinting my way. Well, not literally because it's going to be walking, but just very swiftly walking my way through the finish line of 2026 because I want to finish this year strong. It means a lot to me to have just spent the year the way that I have, being so active and just becoming someone so different. Something about just really taking that up a few notches during the exact month where I usually slow things down feels so good to me and feels so aligned. So that's really the reason that I'm doing this. I want to cement this new identity, this unrecognizable version of me that I've been able to build all year. I want to spend the last month cementing that. If you want to do some variation of this challenge, it doesn't have to be as crazy as mine. Definitely join me, and I'll have more details by the end of this video on how you can kind of lock in with me if that sounds like something you want to do. Rule number 2 is I am moving away from all or nothing thinking. All or nothing thinking, if you're not familiar, is if you can't do it perfectly, you just don't even want to do it at all, and you just don't allow yourself to feel good about something unless it's done completely the way that you envision. And so that leads to you just feeling very overwhelmed sometimes. You just abandon things or quit early because you quote unquote ruined it, right? We're not doing that. We don't have time for that. I'm trying to get 3,000 minutes done, right? And so I am adopting more of a weekly focus than a daily focus. Like I had said earlier, 100 minutes a day, that would be great if I was a robot, but I'm not. Some days I get my period or I'm cramping. Some days are just busier than other days. So I am giving myself the opportunity to look at this from a weekly snapshot. For example, the first week of December is 6 days. I would ideally like to have 600 minutes done during that time. But that could mean doing 50 minutes on one day and then 150 on the next day and just kind of reallocating it a little bit differently, just based on my energy levels, based on my time commitments that day. I want to give myself more built-in flexibility by looking at it through the week. I also am smart, and I know that I'm just naturally more motivated at the beginning of any challenge. My goal is to make it to December 15th, so halfway through my challenge, getting more than 1,500 done so that I could just buy myself some margin of error towards the end of it. This is my way of not being all or nothing, not trying to be perfect, and just kind of going with the flow of how I naturally operate. The other thing that I'm doing, which is a life hack, if you are somebody who does track your calories or your macros, I've noticed that I don't like tracking on the weekends because I try to avoid what I'm going to see, which oftentimes is that I go over my daily calorie allowance. I have also decided to move my calories to more of a weekly focus, but the way that I'm doing this is throughout the week, I just naturally eat less. I'm more focused on work. I don't really have time to be snacking or staying up late. So I take around 200 calories from each of my daily allowance from Monday through Thursday, and I tack that on to the weekend. That'll give me more wiggle room on Fridays, which is usually my cheat meals, where I'm not going to feel so bad about tracking because I know I'll still be within my window. But at the same time, I don't throw my goals away or abandon my weight loss goals because I want to cheat. It's not even really cheating at that point. It's just me having a meal that's more indulgent, is more fried and just good, and not feeling like I'm abandoning the goal that I set out for myself. So that's going to be my strategy for December. I'll let you know how it goes because it'll be my first time really doing it in that way. But I think just visually seeing that bigger number on the weekends is going to make me feel a lot more positive about my journey and therefore more willing to actually be consistent with it. Rule number 3 is decentering the gym. This is something I think people do not talk about enough. I am a gym girly. I have worked myself up to the point this year where I go to the gym at least 5 times a week. I have multiple classes that I schedule throughout the week as well as sessions with my trainer. So I have multiple touch points that are actually getting me into the gym. But what I learned earlier this year, when I was doing a cross-country move, we were renovating this house, there was just so much in life that I couldn't really control and so many things that demanded my attention that normally don't demand my attention. So I decided to decenter the gym during that time. I'm like, I'm moving to a new state. I don't really know the gym scene. I want to really take my time and find a gym that I actually really like. But in the meantime, I ain't trying to gain 30 pounds like I normally do during a big life transition. I use that self-awareness and patterns of what would old me have done? Old me would have used this as an excuse to not be consistent. Then I would have gotten overwhelmed. I wouldn't really be watching what I eat because I'm just overwhelmed and not really trying to think about that. But at the same time, I wouldn't be moving as much. And so naturally, I would just gain back all the weight that I had lost. I was not letting that happen. So I already have one kind of touch point or experience under my belt this year of how I did things so much differently than old me would have done. And what I did, like I said, was just decentered the gym and focused instead on steps. So during that time, I'm like, the only thing I can control is how much I am walking. I'm gonna take my ass outside. There's always gonna be a sidewalk somewhere and go for a walk. If I can get in the gym, great. Let me get in the gym, but let me also just focus on low intensity cardio and steps because that's just gonna be the most accessible. Whether I have an hour or 30 minutes, that is something that I can do. Even if I'm walking indoors, sometimes we were literally like in this house renovating it and I'm just pacing back and forth our living room so that I can rack up some steps. And that was such an amazing strategy. And I love the old version of me for thinking of that because it put something in my control and it allowed me to take my previous excuses and just work around them. I call it outsmarting your excuses. You think about it. Okay, what were my excuses before? Let me take note of that. Let me figure out how to reverse engineer a solution based on those excuses so that they just become neutralized. They have nothing to say anymore. Today, I am still decentering the gym. I'm doing it a little bit differently. I mean, I love going to the gym, but it's freezing outside. We literally just had a snowstorm. I'm kind of scared to drive in that weather. And so I don't want that to be an excuse. While that is a very good explanation, I don't need to go to the gym on days where the roads are slick and Ahmed can't take me. But what I can do is get on my walking pad. It's too cold to get outside. Cool. I'm not trying to make myself freeze for no reason. You don't get extra credit for feeling like your toes and your fingers are numb while you're walking. So I'm not going to force myself to go outside when it's too cold. Instead, I'm going to work around and outsmart my excuses by investing in a walking pad. So my guess is when it comes to this 100 minutes a day on average, I think that 70% of that is going to be done on my walking pad with still that 30% here and there at the gym or sometimes even outside if it's nice enough. My whole point is I am not centering this challenge around getting in the gym. There are way too many barriers. There's just way too many time constraints. I am going to make my whole entire environment focused on this challenge by bringing it to me instead of forcing me to go to it and therefore giving me a million barriers and potential excuses that can distract me from doing what I said I'm going to do. As it relates to whatever goal that you're setting for this month or beyond, I want you to think about this. There should be multiple, if not even infinite ways for you to succeed at the goal that you set and only one way to fail. Just think about that. For me, there are multiple ways for me to succeed. I can get 100 minutes of list cardio, literally walking back and forth in my living room for 100 minutes like a crazy person. I can run up and down my stairs because that's definitely list cardio. I can get on my walking pad. I can bundle up and go outside. And of course, yes, I can go to the gym and use the plethora of different machines that would make it list cardio. I can probably name you at least 100 other ways that I can get my list cardio done. The only way that I fail is by simply deciding that I don't want to do any of those hundreds of options that I just listed out for you. Which brings us to rule number 4, which is to allow positive emotion to fuel this journey. So many of us are so addicted to feeling like we're not enough, like we're not doing enough, like we're not good enough. You're never going to actually accomplish this. Oh my God, you suck. You said you were going to do 30 minutes today and you only did 15. We are so addicted to berating ourselves, to bullying ourselves, to even abusing ourselves. That self-talk in our head is so negative. And I think a lot of us believe that it needs to be negative in order for us to meet the high standards that we've set for ourselves. I can guarantee you, if my standards aren't higher than yours, they're just as high. I have high standards. I am someone who wants to be great. I want to pursue greatness in this life, and I will not allow for myself to be anything less than great. I no longer tolerate that. But the way that I'm doing that is by being on my side. I'm being on my side. I'm leveraging feelings of self-trust. You did that shit. Oh my God, look at what you just did. You're so amazing. Oh my God, yesterday you could only lift this heavy and look at how heavy you're lifting today. Oh my God, you said you were too tired today because you were cramping and you still decided to get on the walking pad despite feeling that way. Even if it was 10 minutes, that's amazing. That is 10 minutes more than what you said you were going to do. Some of us hear what I just did right now and think, well, if I'm so nice to myself, what will motivate me? Like, I can't be that nice. I'm not good enough yet. Like, I didn't earn that. And I'm here to tell you that you are never going to get where you want, or even worse, you are going to get exactly where you want to get. You're going to lose the weight, you're going to get the body, you're going to get in shape, whatever it is that you want. And you're still going to hate yourself because the voice that got you there is not going to suddenly go away when you accomplish the thing that you say you want to accomplish. That voice that is with you along the way is the one that stays with you when you get there. Just think about that. So if you think that that voice is an asshole and you don't want to live with that voice forever, I don't blame you. Sometimes we actually don't allow ourselves to arrive because that feels so painful. The thought that we're never going to be good enough for that voice in our heads, which sometimes sounds a lot like maybe who we were raised with, or maybe just other people who have influenced us or bullied us or abused us along the way. Your voice becomes kind of a collection of those people. But we are all adults now. We can decide what we want it to sound like. And you can decide literally right here, right now in this video, that you no longer want to be someone who needs to be bullied in order to do something. You can be someone who can talk to yourself with accountability and love, because they're not mutually exclusive. With accountability, with high standards, and still compassion. Those are not mutually exclusive. Compassion is not you making excuses for yourself. I would actually argue very well, and I would win this argument. The reason that you keep making excuses is because you're scared of how much you're going to judge yourself for not doing something. If you just stopped judging yourself so much, if you turn the volume down on that judgment, the excuses just become neutralized. You're not sitting there trying to defend yourself from anything. So instead, you're just thinking forward of like, how can I actually solve this problem? I literally was just talking about this during a one-on-one call with a client. And we were talking about how those excuses, they feel the need to come up to protect you because you're bullying yourself. So of course you feel the need to either have those excuses as shields, or even more extreme, just avoid that conversation altogether. If you're someone who avoids, like I said, looking at your MyFitnessPal log, or avoids even thinking about the fact that you set a goal and didn't actually go after it, you just don't even go there. You start watching Netflix or doing other kind of like numbing activities. That is you avoiding the voice in your head that is trying to abuse you. And can you blame yourself for that? If someone in your life was being bullied, it would make sense to you why they're avoiding that person. Why would they want to confront their bully if they don't think that they can defend themselves from that person? So they'll either try to defend themselves, aka in your case, excuses, or they will run away from that person, aka in your case, numbing or avoiding. But if that bully started becoming nice and just being more respectful towards them, they would start to have a more normal, level-headed relationship with that person. That voice in your head bullying you is not helping you get anywhere. It's helping you run away from the things that you actually say that you want. Lean into self-trust. This is why when I'm working with my one-on-one clients, I literally recommend setting a goal that is so small that it often feels a little ridiculous because you're like, of course, this is so dumb. Like, I want to do so much more than this. But at the beginning of your self-trust journey, it is so important to set a goal that you know that you are going to knock out of the park. Knock that goal out of the park for 2 weeks and then up it. Do it for another 2 weeks and then up it. I actually have a whole video from last year where I was exiting my lazy girl era. And I think I told you guys that's exactly what I did. I was real with myself and I'm like, where are you at now, girl? Where are you at? Oh, where I'm at is I'm barely getting in the gym 2 to 3 times a week, if that. Okay, it doesn't matter that you used to be someone back in 2017 that was in the gym every day. Right now, you are someone who's doing it 2 to 3 times a week. So can we just get to 4 next week? Do you think that that's accessible? So I'm like, yeah, that's so like, duh. Of course I can get to 4. I've done way more than that. Okay, well, you're not doing that right now. So let's just do 4, okay? Week after week after week, I knocked 4 out of the park. Okay, can we do 5? Because now I have more self-trust. I know that I can do it. Then week after week after week, not only was I knocking 5 out of the park, sometimes I would just do a 6th workout just because I'm like, I know I can. But the goal was only 4. So that 6 felt like a surplus. And so now the voice in my head is no longer, you're not doing enough, you'll never be enough, you're not being consistent. No, the voice over and over and over on repeat was, you literally doubled what you were doing 2 weeks ago. That's crazy. You just did 6 workouts this week. And last month you were only doing 2 to 3. And that was the positive emotion that was able to help me become someone who did hire a trainer and started working with my trainer some weeks 3 times a week on top of the other workouts that I was doing. I'm now someone where when my trainer tells me, You can do this for 30 seconds to a minute. I always go for the minute, even if I'm dying, even if I literally can't breathe. He knows me now, so it's kind of annoying. He literally will be like, I think you can just go for 12 to 15 of these. And he always knows that I'm going to do 15 of the rep, regardless how heavy it is, regardless how tired I am. I mean, sometimes when I'm literally dying, I'll just stop at 12 or maybe take a break at 12 and then get to the 15. But my point is that I am someone who likes to underpromise in my life and overdeliver because I've become addicted to the positive self-talk that comes out of doing that. So I really want to urge you to lean into positive emotions on this journey and set a smaller goal. Just look at where you're at and maybe do like the next level of where you're at and see how much more positively you feel about yourself than trying to go from not going to the gym at all to suddenly doing 75 hard and failing, because duh. Let's be real and compassionate with where we are at and give ourselves room to make ourselves proud. Rule number 5 is I only want to be around people who believe in greatness. I am challenging everyone in my circle, including my husband, to be great. In this season of my life, I only want to be around people or be influenced by people who are seeking greatness in various aspects of their lives. I actually decided to start what I'm calling the lock-in lab. It starts on Wednesday, December 3rd. So if you're catching this video somehow, some way before that, you can still join. I am craving a group chat of people who are actually a good influence on me, specifically as it relates to health, fitness, and just locking all the way in. I wanted it to be very small. I only wanted like 5 people. We're already at 5. I think I'm going to cap it though very soon because I want the people who join to be people who are super serious, who are showing up every day, who are locking in. The first thing that I'm doing in this group is literally having us each sign a contract to ourselves for what we are locking in on through the rest of this year. Obviously, I told you guys what my challenge is, but everyone who is joining this group is going to come up with their own challenge or their own goal that they want to lock in on and just go full steam ahead on that. But of course, there will be days where we need added accountability, we need advice, we need a reset, we need support. And so there will be a group chat where we're going to be talking pretty much every single day, encouraging each other, sharing tips, sharing resources. And I'm actually taking my coaching hat off for this one and locking in with the girls in the group because I know I'm at a place where I need that. I'm craving that. I have moved to a different state. I haven't really built that community for myself just yet. I obviously have an amazing community of people back home or, you know, my digital community on Instagram and YouTube and all of that. But I just really want a contained space where every single week we're kind of like doing our routine resets, meal prepping, getting ahead of the week so that it doesn't get ahead of us, because that's been huge for me on my journey. So if that sounds like something you're interested in, feel free to come and join us. There will be details below on how you can get involved. But if you're catching this after we've already started, no worries. I'm always doing things like this. There's always ways to get involved. And in general, I'm just always here for you when it comes to the lock-in, personal development, just using self-awareness as an engine to better understand yourself so that you can actually become somebody that you have never ever been before. This season is so personal for me. Like this year has been so personal for me. I don't even think I'll understand what this year has been for me until I'm on the other side of it. I'm truly just so proud of the person that I've become, but I wasn't able to do that unless I chose to embody her now. Not after I get the thing, not after my Instagram gets to a certain number, not after my body looks a certain way. I embodied those specific versions of me first before people were watching my videos. I've embodied this version of me on YouTube that has a 100K plaque before it arrives at my doorstep. Like I am that girl. I already feel that way. And the only way for you to feel that way about yourself is by fueling your journey with positive emotions, allowing yourself to feel good about the way that you're showing up, even if that means that the promises that you make yourself are so tiny right now that you have no doubt in your ability to hit those things. I really want that for you because fueling your journey with positive feelings, it makes it so that you're in no rush to arrive, but the irony of it is you arrive so much faster because you're actually liking the journey along the way. So many of us feel like we need to beat ourselves up so that we can get it faster. But look where you're at now. You've done it over and over and over again, and it hasn't worked. So it's now time to try something that you have never ever tried before. And I can guarantee if you have tried over and over and over at a certain goal, then fueling it with positive emotions and actually being on your side along the way is something you haven't tried before, because there is no way to get on your own side and not get where you want to go. That is impossible. When you get on your own side, you will take yourself so much further so much faster, and you will be so much happier the whole way through, and you'll actually feel like celebrating when you get there, which is something I had never been able to do before. Let me know what it is that you're locking in on this month, whether you're joining us in the lock-in lab or whether you're locking in alongside me. Definitely follow along on Instagram because I'll be posting stuff on my stories. I'm gonna be so real with you guys. There will be days where I know I'm not gonna hit my mark and I might be crashing out a little bit, like, okay, I need to make up for this tomorrow. So I think it'll be fun for you guys to just watch along that journey. I'll be sharing tips on what's been working, different strategies I'm trying, and overall just how I'm doing in that challenge. I'm so excited for you. Let's be someone that we have never been before. If you liked this video, you will absolutely love this video. So go ahead and check that out. All right, let's lock in together and I will see you on the next one. Bye.